Have you ever asked yourself what someone like Jungkook, the golden magne of BTS, would seek in a country as politically complex and emotionally charged as China? Why not Paris? Why not New York or Tokyo? Why China? And more importantly, why in total secrecy? What could possibly be hidden there that the world's most talked about superstar would rather keep away from the spotlight? The K-pop industry thrives on transparency and calculated appearances. Every move is monitored. Every outfit, airport photo, or mysterious Instagram post is dissected by millions. Yet, without warning or any public statement, Jungkook slipped into China under the radar, evading even the most obsessive sightseeing fans and dispatching the media into an anxious frenzy. How did he manage that? And what was waiting for him on the other side of the Great Wall? Insiders first grew suspicious when Jungkook went radio silent during a short, personal break announced by Big Hit Music. Unlike his past vacations, where photos from Europe or New York would flood fan accounts, this time, there was silence. No geotags, no VLive updates, not even the Weverse post. Only whispers emerged that a private jet with a South Korean manifest had quietly touched down at Beijing Capital International Airport at 2:47 a.m. The passenger list was blank, but a shadowed figure captured by a blurred security feed resembled someone oddly familiar. Golden brown hair. A signature walk. Could it really be him? Fans didn't want to believe it. Why would Jungkook, the symbol of global unity, choose to visit a nation currently wrapped in political tensions with South Korea, especially when even diplomatic ties remain fragile? Was this a cultural outreach? A personal escape? Or was it something deeper and darker? Behind the scenes, rumors of a hidden collaboration with a Chinese artist began bubbling. Others speculated about something far more emotional, a secret tied to Jungkook's family, possibly even his late grandfather, who once lived along the Yalu River. The possibilities were endless, but the silence from HYB only fueled the storm. Fans scoured airport employee forums, CCTV leaks, and deleted Weibo posts, desperately stitching together a narrative that no official would confirm. Was this the beginning of Jungkook's solo revolution? Or the unspoken chapter of his personal life the world was never supposed to see? As the mystery grew, the line between truth and theory blurred. One fan posted a translated voice note from a Chinese hotel employee claiming Jungkook had checked in under a pseudonym. Another claimed he'd seen him entering a Taoist temple in Xi'an. Were these fabrications? Or was Jungkook leaving breadcrumbs behind, intentionally or subconsciously, for fans to follow? Whatever the truth may be, one thing is certain: this wasn't just another vacation. Something extraordinary was unfolding, far from the stages, far from the flashing cameras. Something that could redefine everything we think we know about Jungkook, not just as an idol, but as a man with hidden roots, hidden wounds, and a journey he never meant to share until now. What could China possibly hold for someone like him? How does one of the most recognizable faces on Earth disappear without a trace? Is that even possible in 2025, where digital footprints are nearly impossible to erase, and every second is monitored by a camera, drone, or smartphone? Yet Jungkook did exactly that. No commercial flight logs. No hotel check-ins under his legal name. No public photographs. Just gone. And when armies realized what had happened, the reaction was immediate. Confusion, worry, intrigue. The word Jungkook began trending globally, but this time, it wasn't for a new single or an Instagram live. It was for a sudden vanishing act, sparking a million theories. Was it a stunt for a secret project? Was he in danger? Was it burnout? But the truth, as it turns out, may be even more heartbreaking. According to a former HYB employee who requested anonymity, Jungkook had been planning this escape for months, under the radar, away from cameras, and most surprisingly, without even telling some of his closest BTS members. It wasn't about secrecy for the sake of mystery, the source explained. It was about something he needed to face alone. Something personal. Something emotional. Something that happened a long time ago. The question still stands: Why China? As speculation continued to burn across forums and fan spaces, a shocking piece of information leaked on Chinese social media platform Weibo, then quickly deleted. A man working near the foot of Mount Hua claimed to have guided a young Korean man who asked not to be photographed, describing his behavior as calm but heavy-hearted. He wasn't a tourist, the man said. He was searching for something. That description matched Jungkook's build and mannerisms exactly. Suddenly, the narrative changed. This wasn't a casual vacation. This wasn't a music video shoot or fashion campaign. This was a quest. A spiritual one. Possibly even a familial one. And as fragments of evidence trickled in, tiny, fleeting, unverifiable, it became increasingly difficult to ignore the signs. Jungkook had gone to China for something much deeper than what meets the eye. Could it be a person? A place? A piece of his heritage? There are old rumors, mostly ignored by media, that Jungkook's grandmother had family ties in northeast China during the post-Korean War era. Nothing was ever confirmed. But Jungkook has always been intensely private about his family's past. What if he was chasing answers to questions he's held onto his entire life? Questions he couldn't ask publicly, perhaps not even within his own company. The shocking part? No one stopped him. HYB's silence is almost deafening. Normally, even a minor idol disappearance would trigger a flurry of press releases or reassurances. But in this case, not a word. It's as if they too were told to let him go. As if this journey had to happen unwatched, unfiltered, and unapproved. What was it that pulled him across borders, under the radar, into a country where he could not speak freely, could not perform, could not even walk down the street without being mobbed? What if Jungkook wasn't running from something but returning to something? And if so, what on earth could that possibly be? What if this journey wasn't just about Jungkook? What if it was about someone who lived and died long before the world ever knew his name? Someone whose story was buried in history, quietly echoing through generations, waiting to be uncovered. According to a newly surfaced family photo, leaked anonymously and rapidly removed from online platforms, there may have been a long-lost chapter in Jungkook's lineage that ties directly to China. The black and white photo, believed to have been taken in the early 1960s, shows a young man with unmistakably familiar features standing beside a weathered Chinese signpost near the Yalu River, a border area known for housing displaced Koreans during the aftermath of the Korean War. Facial comparison software, used by fans with alarming precision, drew strong parallels between the man in the photo and Jungkook's current appearance, his jawline, his posture, his eyes. Could this be Jungkook's grandfather? The theory gained ground when Chinese genealogical records revealed a Korean laborer named John Soo-hyun, who resided in the Liaoning province between 1955 and 1964. There's no public confirmation from Jungkook's side, but that name, John Soo-hyun, shares the same rare family name and timeline that fits Jungkook's known family history. Why would Jungkook, after all these years, take this journey now? In a resurfaced interview from early 2020, Jungkook once said, "There's a lot I don't know about my family's history. Sometimes, I wish I could ask them more." At the time, fans took it lightly, assuming it referred to typical generational gaps. But now, it sounds different. It sounds like regret, like something unfinished. What if this silence was born from stories that were never passed down? What if a whole part of Jungkook's heritage was intentionally hidden from him for reasons of pain, shame, or protection? Imagine discovering that your bloodline carried secrets tied to a war, to another country, to a culture you were never taught. That somewhere across the sea, in unfamiliar cities, your roots lay quietly, waiting. For someone like Jungkook, so deeply connected to identity, art, and truth, this kind of mystery wouldn't be just intriguing. It would be unbearable. It would demand answers. But answers require courage. And that courage, it seems, took him all the way to China. Multiple unverified sources suggest that Jungkook's visit included time at a rural memorial site in Dandong, near the Chinese-Korean border. That area is known for commemorating those who died during the Korean War and its aftermath. Was Jungkook there to honor someone? To find closure? To read a name carved into stone that no one had spoken aloud in decades. This isn't the kind of journey you live stream. This isn't about fame or art or music. This is personal, generational, sacred, and that's why no one was told. Because what Jungkook may have found in China wasn't a project or a performance, it was a part of himself, a part long forgotten by history, a part the world may never fully understand. But why now? Why at this moment in his career, when the world is watching his every move? What changed? Could it be that Jungkook didn't go to China to uncover the past, but to break free from it? Could a hidden Taoist temple in the shadow of Mount Hua be the key to unraveling Jungkook's silent journey? Could it be that the answers he sought were never in a city, a building, or a document, but in a sacred place untouched by cameras, protected by monks, and concealed by centuries of tradition? Local reports began surfacing just days after Jungkook allegedly entered China. Though unconfirmed, several witnesses in Huayin County claimed to have seen a quiet Korean man escorted up the ancient steps leading to one of the most spiritually guarded temples in Shaanxi province. Known to few outsiders, the temple isn't listed in most travel guides, and photography is strictly prohibited. The few images that exist depict weathered prayer flags, red lacquered gates, and elders whose knowledge is passed orally, never written. Why would Jungkook go there? And how did he even know about it? One answer could lie in something most fans missed, an obscure interview from 2023, in which Jungkook, when asked what culture outside Korea most fascinates him, responded with an answer no one expected. I've always been drawn to old Chinese philosophies. Taoism. I don't know why, but I feel like there's something there I need to understand. Most took it as a polite answer or a philosophical curiosity. But now, it feels like a breadcrumb, a carefully placed hint of a deeper pull he'd already begun to feel. What if that something wasn't just philosophy, but family? What if someone from his own bloodline had once stood at the edge of that mountain, staring down the same path? One local elder, whose name has been withheld to protect his identity, gave an eerie account. He claimed a young Korean visitor arrived at the temple seeking a story that was lost. He asked about old migration paths, about souls, about names that no longer appear in any registry. He wasn't here to pray, the monk said. He was here to remember someone. That changes everything. If this was true, if Jungkook journeyed to a spiritual site in search of ancestral answers, it reframes his entire trip. This was not about celebrity. This was about silence, reflection, roots. He wasn't just escaping the media, he was escaping the noise. This theory gained further traction when Chinese news blog posts, since deleted, claimed a global pop star's private entourage had booked accommodations near Mount Hua under pseudonyms for quiet spiritual rest. Locals were instructed not to speak to the press. Surveillance was temporarily increased. What happened at that temple? No photographs have emerged. No temple monks have spoken publicly again. The area has returned to its usual quietness. But something lingers, an invisible weight in the air, as if something sacred passed through and left a ripple. Could this be the moment Jungkook finally let go of something he had carried his entire life? Or was this just the beginning? Because while the spiritual journey may have offered emotional answers, one question still burns in the minds of millions. Was Jungkook preparing for a personal transformation? Or was he preparing to say goodbye?